The following interview is part of the USMC Vietnam Tankers Association History Project. The interview is being conducted at the USMC VTA reunion in Seattle, Washington on November 3rd, 2019. The interviewees are members of the VTA, and the completed interviews will be posted on the VTA website, www.usmcvta.org. The purpose of the interviews and the VTA History Project is to capture the experiences of our members and make them available for future generations. Our first interviewee this morning is Ron Colucci. Ron, would you tell us your rank when you were in country and what units you were with, and then your story?
I was in Vietnam from January 14th to September. I was wounded on September 20th and medevaced out probably about 3 or 4 days later to Colucci Naval Hospital, and then all the way to St. Albans in New York.
And what year was that?
1969.
69, okay.
Well, just going back to tank school, I met three guys in tank school. They were all from New Jersey. Well, two were from New Jersey, one was from the Bronx, New York. And we always hung out together. Pat Heggie, Jimmy Epps, and myself. And we did everything together. We used to go into town and somebody would buy us a bottle. We'd go to the all-night movie. We're good, Get back in the morning for chow. And we also all went to Vietnam together. We also got in the 1st Marine Division together. We also got in B Company together, and also 4th Platoon together.
Wow.
When we got up to, when we were checking into the company headquarters at Hill 55, we were in the office, and all of a sudden all these explosions are going out down by the main gate. Some guy comes running in, he goes, you and you, come with me. They put us all in different tanks and wheeled them down to the main gate. Now, of course, we're all loaders then,
Mm.
So we threw some rounds in there, they fired a couple rounds, and then we went back to the company office. And then they said, well, you're going to Anhua. Well, it was dead silence after that. I said, well, this does not be a bad place. So we got down to Anhua, but mud. And we were all assigned separate tanks. We have a tank that always went down to a slot by the airfield to guard the airfield.
Okay.
They were always probing the lines, shooting RPGs and stuff. So Pat was only there about a little over a month. And we had on guard duty. And he didn't come back. I go, what happened to him? Well, we caught an RPG, he lost part of his hand. So I never saw him again. Then the following month of February is when they overran us at Anhua. They got inside, they blew the ammo dump up, which was right next to us. It was just like, I'm going to myself, am I ever going to reach 20? So we got through that, and then it was like, we did a lot of road sweeps, The road sweeps, we'd always lose 2 or 3 grunts on a road sweep.
Wow.
And one time I got off my tank, I was a new guy, got off the tank to help with a stretcher. And my tank commander goes, don't ever do that again. You stay on this tank. So about a month later, I saw why. They were bringing a stretcher, it was a corpsman, and 2 other guys were bringing the stretcher in, they hit a mine, they were all killed.
Wow.
And we went on some of course we went on operations all over the place. Kenoi Island, Arizona Territory, Dodge City, Fulak 6. There's an incident at Fulak 6 that a lot of people don't even realize happened. We were bringing a tank back. It had no engine pack in it. The tank's name was ill repute. So we were towing it in. We had it attached to our tank by a tow bar. And then when you get to Fulak 6, Liberty Bridge, whatever you want to call it, there's like a ferry goes up like this, and they tow it across. There's about 30 Vietnamese civilians in the front of that ferry, going across. Somebody took the tow hitch off. I was standing on top of the tank. Somebody took the tow hitch off. Didn't chalk the track.
Wow.
It ran over all of them. The river turned red. Bodies were floating downstream. We pulled some out, and they were all mangled up, a lot of them. And Jimmy, he was there too. He picked the baby up out of there, picked him up like this. The brains were falling out. And he was like, ah. So it took, let me see, it took 3 tanks and 2 Amtraks to pull this tank out of the water. So we got it out of the water, hooked it up again, and brought it in the battalion. Well, once they pulled it up, they had to take some dead bodies out of it. The guys were sucked in and drowned. And they got a battalion, and we heard later on, they found a baby behind the fire bottles.
Oh my gosh.
That's something that nobody ever, it never went anywhere. Nobody said anything about it.
Yeah.
And I was yelling at them, get away, get away. No, they were picking up all their stuff. You know how they do.
Yeah.
So anyhow, we're going, now we'll go up to May, and they needed a driver for one of the tanks. So me and Jimmy flipped a coin. I won the toss, I didn't go. He went and was killed by an RPG in Arizona. And I guess that was the second of the 3. And one of the other worst ones was we went out to Goodway Island with 2 tanks, John Hill. This was on his second tour. He was only there maybe a little over a month. He was a sergeant. He was in charge of the tank. Married, had a couple kids, I heard. And we went out to Goodway Island. His tank hit a mine. So then we hooked up and we towed him. And we set in for the night, you know, the 360. His tank was over here, ours was right here. I was on watch, it was about 2 o'clock in the morning when I saw the RPGs come out and they struck John's tank. First I heard John open up with his 50, and then the RPGs hit him. We couldn't raise him. I yelled down inside, everybody was sleeping inside the tank, so obviously I couldn't blast the 90 out. So I yelled down the RPG, and then I ran down to my driver's seat, put my comm helmet on, and then what knows happened? I said, John's tank took at least three RPGs, I said. They tried to raise him, they couldn't get him. Okay, let's go about a couple minutes, 5 minutes go by, and there was a lot of fire coming in. And I asked, I said, well, you want me to go over there and check it out and see what's going on? So after about 5 minutes, I said, yeah, okay. So I grabbed the grease gun, extra magazine, three grenades, and I went tooling over there. Only about 100 yards away, maybe. And when I got there, and Tom was, he took the full force of the RPG. Wow. It took the 50 and him. He was done. Two of the crew were wounded, and they couldn't get a medevac chopper in yet. So there was a 30 caliber on top. Somebody put the 30 on top. I said, well, this is ridiculous. You already know where you're at. So I took the 30 off and I put it on the line where the grunt was going to load for me. And then the other guy, I believe his name was Pogo, a new guy. He wasn't hurt, but he was like, so I gave him my grease gun. And I says, don't shoot this until they get real close. But then I believe it was a helicopter that came in with miniguns. They went around our perimeter a couple times, and that was it. All stopped. And they got the chopper in, and put John on the chopper. The other 2 guys, they got on the chopper as well. In the morning, around the grunts went out, make you hear pop, pop, pop. And we got back to Fulock 6, and they had a retriever waiting there to take the tank back. battalion. So, that was just one of many things. But the sad part about it is on these road sweeps, the grunts we're always losing 2 and 3 of them. That was really bad over there for that.
From snipers or from the mines? From snipers or from mines, landmines?
Mostly mines, but then we did have some snipers too.
Yeah.
Mostly mines. I was driving down the road on one of these road sweeps, and there was a black Marine in front of me. Now they already went through with the thing there. He stepped on a mine that was made for us. There was a big, huge crater there, and his body, what was left of it, was right over there. So all that was left of it was his head, the body, and from his flak jacket. Well, everything else was gone. Flak jacket down. So we're going down the road the next day, and I saw his hand laying on the side of the road. What are we going to do? We're going to stop and pick it up. So we kept going. And, you know, it's like, well, I'll finish it off by saying in September 20th, 69, we were running down the road. It wasn't even my tank. That really gets me. We're on 55, and I was going on another tank because they were going to go pick up another tank of battalion, so I needed a crew for it. I'm coming down 55, not too far off, and we hit this huge mine. It was big. And I was sitting on top, and I went flying, my weapon went flying. I hit the ground, and I tried to get up. I couldn't get up. I was paralyzed from the waist down. So I'm laying on the road, and the other guys are like, they got out, or some got thrown out. And one guy had I found out later, one guy had a broken leg, but everybody else was pretty much okay. And it sounded like a hissing sound, like the ammunition was going to go off. And I'm sitting laying right next to the tank almost. So AJ started dragging me away. He was one of the guys that was wounded on John's tank. He started dragging me away. And I says, AJ, no sense in both of us getting killed. So then I started crawling. But as it turned out, it was just the fire bottles that were going off. It wasn't the ammunition. So they got the helicopter in, threw me in a poncho, dragged me over there, threw me in the back. They threw me in a stack of bodies. I remember one thing. The hand was like this. There was a silver wolf's head ring on his finger. Anyhow, I got down to Da Nang. I was there for a couple, 3 days before they sent me out to Japan. I was there maybe a week, then they said, always staying home in New York.
Wow.
Almost 9 months later, I went back to full duty. Of course, like any good Marine, I got busted when I was in Medhold. Went down from Lance Corporal to PFC. And where'd they send me? 8th and I Marine Barracks, Washington, D.C.
Oh my God.
That's what I said. I was the lowest ranking person there. Oh boy, the crap beat out of me when I got made rank. But since I couldn't really march, they had me marching with a group of guys. Nah, because everybody's going like this, and all of a sudden I pop up like that. I had a slight limp.
Yep.
So H&S Guard section, I was down there for a year. And then they sent me to Camp David, Maryland. I got my presidential clearance. I was up there for 11 months, and then I got out. That's some of my story.
Yeah. Total time in the Marine Corps, 3.5 years?
No, I did all 4 years.
You did all 4. Wow.
No, I got early out for 1 month to go to school. And what a waste of time that was.
Yeah.
They didn't like me. I didn't like them. I lasted 2 years. 2 years I lasted. Then I worked around for 3 years. 1977, I got the brilliant idea to join the United States Navy. I went in there. I didn't have to go to boot camp or anything. They couldn't get nobody to join the Navy. I started a hearing problem back then. It took me 3 times to pass the hearing test. The 3rd time I miraculously passed. Then I found myself on an LST out of Little Creek, Virginia. Worst ship you could ever be on. I did a Caribbean cruise and a Med cruise, and in a year and a half I was on it. Then I got hospital corps school. I went to hospital corps school, then I went to advanced school for preventive medicine. I'm not going to go through all the duty stations, but I was a first class when I was stationed in U.S. Naval Home in Gulfport, Mississippi. Now, the detailer comes down. Now, I'm 35 at this point. The detailer comes down and he goes, "You got to go back to sea. We got a brand new aircraft carrier for you." No, I'm not going into a bird farm. Then he goes, "Well, you could go with the Marines." He had a smirk on his face. You know, it's like death dolls. It's like court. You don't like to go to. So I said, "Okay, I'll go with the Marines." He almost fell off his chair. But I forgot about the 8 weeks of 8 weeks field medical school. I had to go to Camp Pendleton.
Oh,
All right, so I go there. Where was it? Camp Del Mar. The same barracks I was in when I was in tank school.
wow. What a story.
So I finally made it through that. There was a lot of hassle, but I made it. They gassed me too much one time, you know. They were picking on me. But anyhow, went through that, and I was with the 1st Marine Brigade in Hawaii. I did a Westpac with them, a couple other little things, you know. And then I went to Bethesda, Maryland, for shore duty, supposedly. And August of 1990, I was selected for chief. And Saddam Hussein went over the line. 5 days later, I was gone. I figured they'd send me with the Marines. No. They brought 5 buses down to the hospital, loaded up with doctors, corpsmen, nurses, drove us down to Baltimore Harbor, put us on the hospital ship USNS Comfort, and away we went in August of 1990. Got back when it was over. But it was the best war I was ever in. I never fired a shot, never nothing. Beautiful. I made chief while I was on there and had to pack my stuff, go up to the chief's mess. It was great. Then my last duty station was Staten Island, New York. Then I retired.
Almost back
Chief
home.
Hospital Corpsman, Fleet Marine Force.
Almost had you back home.
Hmm?
They almost had you at Staten Island. You were, you know, across the bridge from Jersey.
I was 15 minutes away.
Yeah.
15 minutes away, where I was raised at.
Yeah.
Right? And I was there about 3 months, and my parents moved down to Manahawkin, New Jersey. Okay, I can take a hint.
Yeah.
So that's about it for that.
Okay, Ron, really appreciate it. Thank you very much, and thank you for your service. And you saw a lot of stuff, but you had a great career afterwards, and you served in both.
I had an even better one after that. I served 21 years with the Food and Drug Administration in Philadelphia as an import investigator.
Oh, wow. Oh, geez.